like through clicking the random button as they're doing for this tryout, we ended up on the same team as DPS, and I just looked at him. I was like, "Yeah, we got this. This is fun."
Is that the case for your Overwatch team as well?
I'm coaching the Overwatch team this year. That way, I don't have to. That way, they can go play in like the gold elo, and I don't have to drag them up.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I think one of my friends is also doing that as well at my old university. It's not gold elo, but it's definitely something where he did not want to be dragging them up.
Exactly. Also, playing just sucks. Playing video games sucks.
Exactly.
I've hit this wall like the past 2. Like, I can play Overwatch for like 45 minutes and then I get tired of it, but then I can't play anything else. It's like I want to go back to Overwatch, but I know what the fuck's gonna happen. I'm gonna play one game and have something go wrong. It's just gonna be like, but what is it?
Give me another Dexatron NASCAR
unwindy game.
True.
The second you get into esports, the multiplayer games stop being fun because they're work now.
2 games I keep on telling myself I'm gonna go back and play. I want you to go back and play Valhalla or Pyre, and I just can't I can't bring myself to play either of them.
I like the brainless shit. Like I like shiny hunting in Pokemon Scarlet, which is so easy.
Yeah.
And it's just like slow dopamine trickle. Shut my brain down for a while.
Really, I tried shiny hunting one day for 3 hours, and I think I killed over 1,000 Pokemon. Just like, damn, I could have done anything else in this 3 hours, and I didn't find a fucking shiny. I was like, I'm gonna come on the next time and find one in like 5 seconds. I don't think I've opened a Pokemon since.
God, you know, that is interesting because as long as I have played Pokemon in my entire life, I had only now naturally found my first shiny yesterday.
Damn, who'd you
My
find?
first ever shiny. It was Babarl. It was there that shiny. Because I'm playing.
Is that Big Bidoof?
That is Big Bidoof, yeah. It's not wouldn't have been my first choice, but I was playing through Brilliant Diamond, trying to do some of the post game, and I'm like, huh, that looks a little weird, and it has like the sparkly animation. I'm like, there is no fucking way. This is how I find my first shiny.
I've streamed a lot on shiny Pokemon. I got when I was...
This is your first.
Yes.
Big Bidoof, man. What's the shiny sprite like? Can we bring that up?
Let me...
It's not that different.
It's just gold.
Oh my god!
It's literally just gold.
Why is it so small?
Not a piss shiny, man. Your first natural shiny is a piss shiny.
It is fish shiny.
That's so sad.
It gives off the vibes of there's only one brain cell and it doesn't want to be there.
There's only one brain cell that's on this union mandated break.
That one brain
that's
cell
so
just needs to be there,
relatable.
so there's something going on.
My first shiny in Arceus was a fucking Weasel, also a piss shiny.
It fucking pisses me off about Arceus because I love that game, played it a lot. Never found a fucking shiny, and my friends and my brother.
Super rare.
My friends and my brother were finding them like every couple minutes. It seemed like when the game first came out, I was just like, I just fucking cursed.
Maybe.
I think you are, honestly.
And yeah, probably.
For shame, for shame.
Have you started recording yet?
Oh yeah, I started recording about 4 minutes.
Oh yeah.
ago.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
So we're opening with the piss shinies to make sure we're on topic
Yeah.
for esports.
Well, to be
Yeah,
honest,
exactly.
to be honest, I wanted to start recording when Mega was flaming her rivals tryout, but it just didn't start for about 20 seconds. I don't know. That's more
Mega has
concerning
a
about my
very high
computer.
opinion of all of her teammates.
Exactly.
I'll repeat that again. See, that's the thing about opinions that I have. I'll double down every single time without
Then
fear.
bitch has got to know.
Exactly. Like I don't say shit behind people's back. I go to their face. That's the problem with me.
I swear, the day we have Echo back on, and we're gonna learn so much about the Calling All Heroes Rising division.
Yo, there's interesting things going on there. There's tea, shall we say?
That is a whole can of worms, right? You know what? Well, you know what? I don't ever do the transition. I'm not even gonna try Dex. I'm just Fuck
You
this.
did the transition. It was one, I guess. It was
the transition of all time.
In the same way that a car crash is equivalent to coming to a stop.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, half the car might be over there. The door is like 20 feet that way. But yeah, hey, the car is stopped. It did its.
I, however, am not inside of it anymore.
Were you ever in it to begin with? That's the more important.
That's what historians will always question. Never find the answer.
Schrodinger's cat in this podcast. All right, but to actually transition, welcome back everyone to this episode of For the Love of Prod. As always, I am joined by Huntertain and Megalass, and our guest this week, you might have never heard of him before, but it is. Honestly, if you haven't heard of him, it's more of a surprise. But our guest this week is Legday. Legday, man, thank you so much for being on our show.
Happy to be here. You guys have kept me company on many a train ride while I've been doing some bullshit in London.
I'm gonna be honest. When Mega told me that last week, it was a moment where I kind of sat there and said, "What?" Like,
yeah,
because we talked about it a little bit on the pod review we did. It's always a wonder to me, like, outside of the people we've had on and like the people we always kind of work with, what's the actual like reach that we're getting? And it's always insane to hear like people who actually do listen to this podcast.
I mean, the niche is like exactly for people like me, right? It's a very dedicated niche.
Yeah. And again, something else we talked about on the pod review. Like, we talked about our podcast being an esports podcast, already niche. Then we're getting a little bit more specific. Production. Which I imagine there are people out there who are generally like really interested in trying to understand it. But it's always one of those things like, you're going to have to go down the esports rabbit hole first to get to the esports production rabbit hole, which is always fun.
We are fractally divided in terms of our niches.
Yeah. But as someone who's listened to the podcast a couple times, or actually no, as someone who's listened to the podcast, I imagine it's more than a couple times. You kind of know where we'll be going with this, but I want to actually give you the chance here to really introduce yourself to people who might not necessarily know who you are. This is mostly calling out to my parents who listen to this and are always, when I say like the name of the person who's on, is always like, what do they do? And I'm just like, you know what? Just listen and you'll find out.
I'm Legday. I am a moderately successful esports caster. My body of work includes VCT Asia, Marvel Rivals Ignite Series, Marvel Rivals Championship, and the Overwatch League, back when that was a thing.
A thing that a lot of people enjoyed, a lot of people miss, but I think a lot of people miss maybe a little bit too much.
Yeah, I don't know. I think they miss it accurately, but also like it's not just Overwatch League. They miss the good times, you know. We're currently living in the Big 2-5, and things are occurring. And sometimes during Overwatch League, fewer things are occurring.
I mean, I won't disregard you there or say you're wrong there, no, because you're absolutely right. I mean, what, Japan started back up today, right? OWS Japan started back up this morning.
Yeah, they just started this morning. I think Korea starts on Friday as well, and then we get everyone else the week after that. So, look at me, knowledge in this head. There's gotta be something in there.
Hunter has the one brain cell right now.
I do. It's gonna go on vacation in about.
Oh, that's the other thing. I've done OWCS Korea and Asia since the great splintering of Overwatch. For the 3 broadcasts a year they have budgeted.
Exactly.
Gotta love playoffs.
I mean, yeah, listen. The like, unfortunately, when you speak facts, you speak facts. But
yeah, I thought there was a follow up there,
yeah,
Mega. I gotta be honest.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I definitely thought I had a follow up as well, and then I started unscrewing my water bottle, and I completely forgot everything in my brain. So I just was like, "All right, good luck."
Hunter, pass the brain cell.
Pass the brain. No, listen. If I hand over my brain cell, you're gonna see this for the next 30 minutes.
Okay,
Just stare off into nothingness.
actual follow up, because and this is technically one of the questions that Dex likes to ask to start stuff off. But obviously, that's the repertoire of work that you have done. You know, your name's out there. People know who you are. Where did it start? Where did where did you start in esports? Right? Was it some random job? Did you grow out of nowhere right away? What was the story?
I guess I got into esports from watching the Ghost of Gamers Weeklies back when Overwatch came out. Just trying to be better. I used to be a very good Reinhardt player. I came from MMOs as a raid leader, so melee tanking made a lot more sense to me than to the COD players who transitioned, and that let me kind of dominate on Reinhardt in the early game. I used to be in all the like 2 easy reinforced lobbies in the Euros back then. And I used to stack with a lot of people. When I couldn't get into the stacks, I would like join the spectate feature and I just like speed type narration in the chat of like casting because people found it amusing. And like I was streaming at the time, so I had to like put out some content rather than just randomly spectate my friends. And eventually I got onto I captained a team in something called the Overwatch University League, which was like a very distant predecessor of BPL. Um, I led a team called the Wu Tank Clan, and I was competing in EU, and then I would stay up late and I would cast the NA version of the same tournament just for fun because I was a streamer and I used to be a singer and I've done a lot of performing, so a lot of that performance aspect kind of called to me when I saw like ZP and Hex do it back in the day. It really stood out to me as being like a cool performance art, so I tried to do that. And my big break came when I sorry, current employees, netties. I stole some content. Uh, the Nexus Cup at Overwatch was happening with teams like Element Mystic at the time, Runaway. It was like a China versus Korea tournament that didn't have any English coverage. So I stole the Billy stream. I muted it. I put some Lucia music underneath, and I cast over it with an ancient name from the Dwarven tablets, Ham Tornado. And Blizzard noticed me stealing. And I kind of got the Suicide Squad offer. I didn't actually get the Suicide Squad offer. They didn't threaten anything, but they did notice me. But it was at precisely the right time at the beginning of 2018 when they were creating like the Overwatch League, Overwatch Contenders split, and they didn't really have any talent for contenders because they were all of their main talent they'd moved up to Overwatch League, apart from CP, bless his heart. He got constantly cucked on that angle. But they didn't have any talent in EU, so they reached out to me as a very novice caster to do EU and kind of rode the corpo ladder from there.
Especially fucking hell. We're
3
starting
words,
early.
boys.
Get it together,
3
man.
syllables, actually.
I struggle with one syllable words. Let's be honest.
It's a good job your primary profession isn't speaking.
Second.
I mean, yeah, it's good that my primary job isn't doesn't require me to speak that often. Secondary maybe, time to time.
True.
Speaking
that.
is, Hunter can attest. I'm fucking up a lot right now.
Nah, you know what? It's fine. You know what? It's fine that we fuck up. We have time to learn, all right? We're fucking up basically every day when we do the co-streams, all right? To some degree, we're always doing something wrong, but that makes it better. But, you know, that is beside the point.
Waking up in the morning was the biggest fuck up.
Waking up.
You know, I have a reverse question since not to touch myself too much, but you're generally aware of my body of work. What is the current day-to-day grind of a caster, tier 2 caster in Overwatch? I think would be fair to characterize you guys at the moment, since it's kind of the OWCS casters, and then you guys who do face it, probably being the tier 2 of casting in Overwatch. What's the body of work like for that? Because I haven't dipped my toes into the current Overwatch scene apart from being called in for 3 broadcasts of career a year.
I mean, for Face It, I mean, me and Hunter cover South America and NA. South America, we only really started covering it because CGL added that region to it, and we all 3 of us cast for CGL. Mega also does a little bit of production work with CGL and some of the other leagues as well. But South America, Senju Corp and William Mundy came to Headrammer, or there was a mutual agreement where they started working together on broadcasting them. Me and Hunter casted the grand finals for CGL's South American region, and we fell in love with that and wanted to say, okay, well, hey, Face It starting up, let's cover that for them. And then that kind of snowballed into, we want to keep going with casting because, once CGL ended, there's going to probably be about a month and a half dry spell between CGL ending and BPL starting. And we wanted to just not just sit there and start to rust. So we just wanted to keep going. So it was Tuesdays last season doing a doubleheader with South America at 7, North America at 9, and then another North America on Thursday. And then when they started doing Friday games later in the season, that. Now, this season, everything's changed. The dates are now Wednesday and Friday. Granted, it's now Monday, Wednesday, Friday for Face It Masters in NA. There's only 8 teams in South American Face It, so that's only one game a day or 1 game a week on Wednesday. But to do a little bit more, like surprisingly, a lot of the players that are in Face It, the Masters tier, are players that we've casted in the community leagues, whether it be CGL, BPL. Hell, some of them have even been in Tranquility and SPCS, and just some of them are in Collegiate, which I recognize some of them from there. So we're already going into it having a little bit of knowledge on them. Me and Hunter are now reaching out to the teams this year to get a little bit more knowledge on how the teams play. And I imagine both me and him are going back and actually watching previous games from those teams so that we can come in knowing a lot about these teams. So we're not sounding like, we're just talking about meta and not talking about how these teams play. Because that's what we were doing a lot last season. And then we would run into Emote down mid, who only play, or when Cardi fans in, only plays Doom or Wrecking Ball.
Yeah. And the thing with it being last season is that it was purely a thing of, hey, we just want to get reps in. We want to also just have a good time and cast the teams we want to cast. Great. That's awesome. And then one day we got contacted, Dex, because they, last season, they ended up casting the NA and EMBA Masters Tier playoffs on the Overwatch Esports channel. And we had Bull Skunk and Kenobi doing that, which, by the way, awesome talent. Was a fantastic job. And when they did this last season, they brought in more people for it. And due to circumstances from everything that they'd see from us, all that grind we put in, they brought us in, and we got to make essentially our big Tier 2 debut in Gulp on there. So now, with where we are now, the goal is still to hit that grind, but it's to be more invested to make it more of an actual broadcast and let people learn these teams more, because that's, at this stage of the game, what I would like it to be about.
Are you guys running the broadcast, doing the observing?
Hunter's doing it all.
Broadcast, observing.
Wow.
He is my artiste.
Yeah, I provide the scoreboards that you see, but he's done so much work behind the scenes, whether with adding scenes that are for map picks, hero bans, which, Hunter, you pull that from like Solomon GG or
nope, everything was from scratch.
Yeah, there's that, and he's in all that. Like he did so much work to really upgrade it. I just provide the scoreboards. That's it.
Classic play-by-play, honestly.
I'm the color.
I mean, as a play-by-play, I know. My ass does nothing but yeah.
Yeah, but here, more literal to the day-to-day grind. It's wake up early, go to the gym, go get home, shower, go to work, and then come home around 5-6 o'clock, eat dinner, and then quickly study up what I can before I cast. And then normally the cast is the rest of my night, and I go to bed to restart it.
Oh, that's what it is. Mine is pretty similar. Mine is wake up for work at about, by the way, like 4:15 in the morning, because I work early as hell for my job. come home, pretty much get everything ready I need, and like showering, eating, all that good stuff, doing my cast, and then immediately having to go to sleep because waking up at 5-6 hours for work is a little bit important. Which with this week, it's going to be a very constant trend because we're doing 5 games this week. It's going to be crazy.
Also a day-to-day of a cactus.
Of a cactus, yeah. Yeah,
Wake
cactus.
up,
What about you, cactus?
photosynthesize,
True.
There you go.
Yeah, I
store,
mean
some,
that's
store some water.
Mm-hmm. It's funny that you say that because that's pretty much what I did. Like, I like compared to these two, like I joke about it constantly lately. I feel like the fraud around here, where it's just like they're over here like, yeah, we're getting to talk to the people at Face It, we're getting to do this, this, and this. And I'm like, that's cool. I cast the marginalized gender tournament that I played in. That was pretty neat. Like I'm over here like clearly the third child, and the parents still put my art up on the fridge, and it's just it feels great. It feels amazing.
Are you doing your own Face-It streams as well?
I am not. I am supposed to be helping Spectrion with his because I'm gonna be so real. I just could not be asked to care about NA as a region right now.
So relatable.
But Spectrion's currently on break, and so it's just kind of it's one of those things where when the schedules align, I like to tap in and help him. But otherwise, it's just sort of keeping to myself, just minding my own business. Just because like I could obviously sit and do Faceit streams and stuff like that. It's just a matter of like actively physically doing it, and like I said, it's just doing it for NA just does not interest me in the slightest.
Eat their own.
Because we're wank, we're dog.
It's not just NA.
It's not.
No, everyone hates fucking NA region. I'm not gonna beat around the bush there.
Let's just say everyone it's not that everyone hates NA. It's just that the only people who love NA are NA. You know.
Mm-hmm.
Like you guys love South America. I love South America as well. I did some Counter-Strike in South America that was just amazing fun. But no one's like, oh yeah, there's no one tuning into the NA scene who's not in NA. Like, yeah, this is freaking sick. Like, oh, they're all mid as fuck.
It's not even just the mid factor sometimes. Like it's so boring. Like genuinely, there's not a single team without like a creative bone in their body. Dude, that's what I'm saying. NA is literally like we will play the meta. The meta is this, this, and this, and then they play meta for 8 hours a day, and then they go home. And I'm like, okay, cool, this is great. Like other regions, they have their fun whimsy teams that are like, yeah, we're gonna play Wrecking Ball every single map until the wheels fall off this thing. Like we just need more of that, and unfortunately, we just don't have it in NA because everybody believes that if they play the meta long enough, that some college will give them like $4 to come play for them.
That's crazy.
Even the one fucking example I was gonna say, but oh, look at fucking Geeky. That's the one team everyone criticizes. Yeah, they're in the NA region, but they're not fucking NA.
How many imports can you get away with? Find out next time.
You would think too. You would think.
Because of the collegiate rules, the fact that they are going to college in America, that's basically why they're on an NA org or an NA team playing for a Saudi org with a whole bunch of EMEA people.
Oh, good lord. Oh, it's fantastic. Just what I want in my NE esports. NA?
What the fuck is NE esports?
I don't know. It's fine. I don't know. Let me look it up. Let's see if that's a thing.
We aren't in New England. I know you're a Patriots fan, but let's not talk about the fucking Patriots.
Well, it's actually Nebraska esports. That's a thing apparently.
I was there. I was in Nebraska. I didn't know they had esports.
Wow.
You know, the best thing about NA esports is definitely that it has a workable collegiate scene. Like, NA seems to care enough about collegiate sport just from, like, I guess the echoes of the NCAA, that seems to be a sustainable and thriving place. At least from the outside. Maybe Megalass has the dirt from within. But from across the pond, it looks like it's a pretty good scene.
Yeah, no, collegiate esports is probably the best part about NA. The NCAA, not necessarily the best organization. Probably no shock at all. It was only about 4 years ago that they actually dropped the amateurism thing and allowed players to start being paid for playing sports. Now you have 17-year-olds making $4 million a year.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's a lot of Robux.
Roblox is going through some other shit at the moment.
Yeah.
I'm 30 years old. I am so out of the loop on like what's happening in like Roblox or Fortnite. I see Twitter on my drama on my Twitter feed all the time, and it's so nice to be so far from me.
It is really nice. Either of those games.
The insulation is amazing.
Every time I see Fortnite Festival, I'm just like, damn, this could have been Rock Band 4. I mean, Rock Band 5. But yeah, they put it in Fortnite. Yeah, I can have fucking LeBron play a fucking Hatsune Miku song. Let me do that.
I can have LeBron snipe Master Chief with a pump action shotgun, then hit the gritty on his corpse. I mean, gaming truly is in quite the position right now.
You know, to unironically attempt to tie this back to Overwatch in any meaningful way, have y'all seen what the season 18 like global emote thing they're doing?
The
Oh,
fucking
the
mic drop?
skateboard.
No, the mic drop.
skateboard.
The mic
the
drop.
mic
Oh,
drop,
really?
but then Kiri also has the moving one with the skateboard. But
Yeah.
there's like a global mic drop thing. But also, like, I'm here to tell you, there's gonna be so many annoying Kiri clip montages with that skateboard as well. Like, it's gonna be
Yeah.
just skateboarding into a fight, throwing kunais, killing two. Like that, I'm gonna get so annoyed with that so quickly, just because it's gonna be everywhere. I can
Bro, if they're
already
gonna
tell.
run global emotes, can they finish what they started and start giving every character a walk emote for all the cinematic recorders? Like
we're missing every
we got
new
like
hero.
6 emotes. Yeah, we've got like 6 emotes into that series. And we're like, fuck it, that'll do.
Yeah. Oh, well, yeah, a bunch of. I think one of the only newer characters that has this. I know Junker Queen has a walking emote.
She
I know
does, and it's
that.
fantastic.
It's great, but it's like I don't think Mauga has one. I don't think
No.
Freya has one. Does
Yeah,
Sojourn even have one?
Nope.
We really need the brick shithouse known as Malga to have a walk emote.
Yes,
Absolutely.
obviously.
Absolutely. Are you
Yeah,
kidding me?
they could do a cheeky one for Sojo. Just let her slide real slow across the floor, like a dog wiping its ass on the carpet.
That's just her city emote in front of a cart. Oh,
It makes like that like squeak noise that occurs if you're like on a basketball court. Just the little streaks or whatever. Oh my lord.
Streaks. Gee. I love my esports podcast.
Where the fuck are we going with this? Okay, how about this? No transition. Let's get to the second part of the question here, Leg Day. I imagine, like, through everything you already kind of talked about, we do know what the answer to this one is, but what kind of keeps you coming back to doing esports, and more importantly, esports production?
I mean, a lot of people say the community, but in a more self-centered way, I love performing. I feel like this is the perfect job for my skill set and my interests. And I feel like I'm good at it. It's nice to feel like you're good at something, and it's very self-fulfilling on a personal level to be able to continue engaging in something that you feel like you're good at, and you're lucky enough for it to be your job. Like, I love storytelling, and there are some amazing stories to tell across all manner of esports, and I feel like there are a few people who can do justice to that, and it's important that those stories get done justice, and that's my calling. And if I had to do it alone with no community, I'd still do it.
You know, that might be the most unique answer we've had to this question so far. And honestly, I completely understand where you're coming from with all of it. Like, we all love performing. I know definitely all of us have really tried working on the storytelling part. Like, it's why I want to get into collegiate so bad and start casting there, because there are so many outside of like the top like 7-8 top teams. Those like next 10 where, you know, there's fringe pro players, ones who are in face at masters, don't get that kind of recognition. I love being able to tell the stories of how like the team that they're playing with in college is one that's quietly sneaking up on everyone. It would just be so fun to tell that.
Collegiate seems like it has like amazing capacity for dynasties, like with their recruitment programs and like being in these geolocated positions. Huntertain, are you in the Simpsons intro?
I wish I was, honestly. That'd be great.
Are you in the sky?
I don't even know
Nepal?
what map is this anyway. Let
Are
me
you in
check. Can I
Nepal?
see? This is not Nepal.
No, that's not Nepal. That's
Hanamura?
Half expecting some yellow text
Where
to clip through your
is
head going
this?
to Simpsons.
Can I somehow move this background around? Can I? Is it okay? That didn't really
You can
help
just
me.
here,
changing it.
Hunter. Just make yourself clear, and we'll figure it out.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
might be
really
oh, wait,
gonna.
Icon.
there's trees. Yeah,
It
is
could
that
be.
ice?
It could be. I can. Yeah. Let me delete myself from existence. Actually let me hit myself with the classic.
Oh,
Yeah, that's Ike.
That is not.
I
Is
think
That's
it's
Ike.
Icon.
Are
That's
you
Ike.
are you like the forest above the last Bastion cinematic?
Yeah, maybe this is Black Forest. No, Black Forest has darker trees. I think this is Eichenwald.
That's Eichenwald.
I think it's Eichenwald. Yeah.
Like no, it's definitely Ike, but it's from the POV of that last Bastion cinematic. Why?
I don't know. Let me go ahead and stinger myself back in.
That's my favorite producer right there.
I found out how to get stingers, and I'm like, I'm using stingers on everything, unnecessarily.
You have to start changing around. You have it going up. You have to have it going down, left, right, corner, diagonally, just everywhere.
I wonder if I can specifically stinger my Winston and nothing else.
I mean, you could probably like programming in a stinger like a Winston to expand from like bottom right, cover the screen, and then transition behind it.
Now you're in Nelia.
It's a good idea.
Why do you want a slideshow?
Because this is our back.
Well,
This is our
cool.
face of background. This is our face of background, sir.
That's your face of
See?
background.
No, well, it's my. It's
Oh
for
yeah,
our
no,
whole
no,
thing.
like
If I go fade over to the other thing, it doesn't even change. It's the same thing. It's the same exact thing for all of them. So that way, it's a seamless transition, sir. It's seamless. It's beautiful.
Gosh, I
You
really
should
wanna
be
call you a
impressed, but I
nerd
see
right
you
now.
judging me.
I'm wondering if it's better for there to be little distinction between you and a break screen with nothing happening.
That is true. This is true.
But hey, that's just my take, and I have not done any production. I don't have high IQ enough for that.
I'm still learning so much. It's we tried the first like week or two, and a good producer friend of ours, Hippie, told me, "Hey, buddy, this is the list of things you're doing wrong. Here's how to fix most of them." Yes, sir. I gotcha.
I feel like producers are the most like competency minded people when it comes to like giving you unreserved feedback, and they're like, there's no way they could possibly take this badly. Here are all the ways you're fucking up, and there are many. And here's how you fix it.
I want to say you're absolutely right when it comes to like doing stuff with like producing a stream, but then once you get them talking about anything else that's not that, it's the exact opposite.
Tangent Central.
It's like BPL had a thing where it was trains for a long time, where all the producers were just talking about trains, and that was all Solomon. Now it's mostly knock on wood, who's really into talking about his cat girl in Final Fantasy 14.
Awesome.
That's our canon lore right there.
Speaking of BPL and CGL, were those your guys' collective intros into casting?
No, at least
Not mine.
I mean, CGL's tactically my biggest introduction to it. Like I did like very, very small things like dipping my little toes into what casting is, and CGL was the first like actual league I did anything for. And I've been doing that since 2020 now for them. Crazy.
college was mine. Back in
I was like, Dex, you have to make sure
you have to tell the
story.
You have to tell the story, man. Come on now.
Oh, story time?
Yeah, here.
Yeah.
Long story short, tried
I'll
out for the
settle in.
team. Realized I sucked at the game. That I wanted to be a part of the program. Is there anything I could do? And the coach said, "Yeah, can you want to be a caster?" I'm like, "Sure." Didn't know what casting was. Figured it out pretty fucking quick. Casted the next tryout. Got told by a lot of the players, "Do you even know what the fuck you're doing in the game you're casting?" I was like, "Great start." Fast forward a year. I'm still casting for my school. Newspaper comes to interview only the casters, and I put down this banger of a quote, and it said, at some point during the tryout, I realized, oh God, I suck, and it literally said, Jedrzak said, oh God, I suck, and then that's why he started to focus his transition to casting. I was like, you know what? I told my brother this journalism degree, and he said, yeah, if someone told me that, I'm fitting that in. Hell, I would make that like the subtitle of the entire thing.
On a state journalism level, you started those who can't do cast.
I
That's
just
just so real, though.
wanted to do something with the sports program at my school. I couldn't play, so casting. Hey, it's worked out. It's worked out pretty well.
What about you, Megalass? And did you start as a VTuber, or did the gimmick come later?
So, okay, here's the thing: the question of the layers of the gimmick. That's a great question because I've never
Mhm.
actually answered that. But before I get there, I started in 2018 for now. Granted, the first year that Overwatch was out, I was like Overwatch's #1 op. I knew nothing about the game, but I said that I hated it off cooldown until I played it once at PAX East, and I immediately was like, "Oh fuck, this is going to become my life." And
That's a
um,
quick turnaround.
yeah, so then about a year after starting to play, I just was involved in a bunch of random communities, and one of them was called Rose Esports. It had Captain Jack, if you know who that is.
Oh, yeah, I know
Um,
Captain Jack.
yeah, Captain Jack was in there, and this was early days before he had ever done anything or anything like that as well. And I remember they put out a thing like, "Hey, listen, we need casters," and I was like, "Yeah, sure, why not?" Like, I feel like I know enough about the game, even though my physical hands cannot, hit the mechanics to do what I need to do. But going through, like, when I tell you Rose Esports was held up by me, Jack, and a producer who I can't remember his name. I think it was like First Night or something. It was literally the three of us. Like every single broadcast was the three of us, and uh, we would always like constantly complain about it. And then when Jack actually went to figure out from Rose Esports, because they were like rebranding to Rose Cup or something like that, they were going to try to like make it into like an actual tournament and an org that could pay money for some reason. Uh, there was like an entire kerfuffle that ultimately ended up with all three of us getting thrown out because we basically knew where the skeletons were in the closet. But all of this was done as like IRL. And then once I started in BPL, like which came a year after that in 2020, that's kind of when the VTuber stuff started because I was like, A, I hate what I look like, and B, nobody here at BPL gives a shit, so I can get away with this. And then it kind of just stuck from there and eventually got to the point where I have this model, which is actually like I paid for and stuff like that. And yeah.
Sorry for reverse interview. I think I'm slightly less familiar with you guys than most of your guests, so I figured I'd get the lore.
Mhm. No, that's fine. The lore is great because, like I said, that some of this lore, I don't feel like we've ever talked about. Like some stuff we obviously have, but
And some
there's
stuff
other
it's been
stories.
20, 30 episodes since we talked about it. Hell, go all the way back to the first test episode we did of this, where I think all of us actually broke down the questions that we normally ask people. Which I don't know if anyone should go back and watch the first test episode because boy was it rough.
Yeah, don't watch it because it's Spectreon.
No, the
Yeah,
first test
no
episode.
millennium.
That was
Well,
the
no,
first one. That was the second one.
Yeah, that's true.
Wait, we had a first test episode that wasn't Spectreon?
Yeah, it's on the
We didn't
channel.
invite
It's been
you.
so long. It's been so.
No, see, this is the other trick: is they do invite me. I definitely was there. My memory is so piss poor that I could just be like, I wasn't there, and I genuinely mean it.
It was middle of December last year when that happened.
Yeah,
It's been a
there
while.
it is. There it
Who did you
is.
have on for your first guest?
Technically,
Before Spectreon.
technically
first-
it was Spec, but we called that test episode 2. So our first guest was an observer / producer friend of ours called Person.
Mm-hmm. You got you got the NPC.
Exactly. That's a great way to sum him up.
Oh
Actually, I cannot wait for person
God.
to watch this.
You
Oh,
think
that'll be
person
funny.
watches this?
Oh, I'm gonna tell him to. I'm gonna make sure he knows to come in. I'll get the clip and everything for him if he's too lazy.
I mean, the test over there is like, oh yeah, it's Dexatron, Huntertain, Megalass featuring person.
That's
It's a
That's
fantastic
what it
name.
is.
That's what it, that's what it fucking says.
It's just the most NPC ass fucking test episode. And when you bring in Spectrion, who is such a I love Spectrion. Spectrion's a fantastic but I don't know what person's like, but it feels like that would be some personality whiplash.
No, Spec was our test. He was our first test. Person was the first official episode. So we've been now joking for 32 episodes saying, hey, we're eventually gonna have Spec come back on. My joke I want to do with it is we'd act like we never did a test episode with him. And I just want to see how the fuck he reacts.
Like gaslight him the entire 90 minutes. See what happens.
We've had too many people come in here and glaze Spectrion. It boosts his ego up too much to a point where he's unstoppable at certain point.
This is why I will always hate that man. I have to be the thing that brings him down, keeps him in line.
Wait, no, here's literally the first thumbnail I made for episode 1. Why the hell?
That's
it's Bidroll.
What?
Yeah,
God damn it! Wrong
yeah.
fucking.
Bidroll, yeah, baby.
Bring back the piss Bidoof.
Yeah.
We've guessed, but that really is the full NPC treatment.
Oh,
Is there no logo, no Discord avatar? I mean, I guess to the people that this is aimed at in the niche, like they know person.
no, at that point, I think person was only
Like,
working in like.
nobody knows person. Nobody cares.
No, originally person was gonna be the person we got for the test episode, but he wasn't available. And then he said I could do it next week. I was like, sure, fine.
Fine. I guess I'll let you be on our podcast.
Needed bodies at that point, and person was the easiest person to ask.
Glowing reviews.
That is
At
what
this
it
point,
was.
I feel like I'm gonna come out better with person than you guys are. And I
No.
call them an NPC.
You will, but then give it a day, and person will be sending me stuff about Kansas sports, and it just won't matter.
I'll forget it so quickly.
Yeah. All right, let's get back on track. Let's get back on track.
See how long that lasts.
I'm gonna give it 2 minutes. Okay. So leg day. It's been a little bit over, but you just got back from doing the first big Marvel Rivals LAN in Guangzhou, China, Guangzhou, China. What was that like? Because like we're all on the outside, kind of looking in with Rivals. I know Hunter's done some stuff. It sounds like Mega's doing some stuff. I might be the only person here that really hasn't done anything with Rivals, but talk a little bit about the Rivals scene, and then what it was like to go to China to actually be there for that first LAN.
The rival scene is interesting in that it feels temporarily closed, you know? Like it feels like until November, talent's kind of locked in. And then maybe next year things will get a bit of a shakeup. Who knows? But Guangzhou is fantastic. Like we were at the NetEase offices. I think one of their HQs. I think HQ number 2 or something, where the devs also work. And their building is huge. That entire arena was inside their HQ. We thought that it was going to be like a much lower key affair because it was inside the HQ. They've just got this entire fucking hall in the middle of it that they decked out. The stage design was fantastic. NetEase took amazing care of us all as well. And crucially, something that Blizzard need to do a lot is that they bought the teams out 2 weeks early to do media and to let them beat jet lag and acclimatize, and they set them all up with practice PCs so that there wasn't a like resource gap between teams who could boot camp and those who couldn't, which I thought was a fantastic idea from NetEase. Even if they probably could tighten up their timings on the media days to make it more efficient for the players. But not having that resource gap, I think, was very important in having regions like OCE not get their shit kicked in, where they're usually horrendously resource gapped by a team like Sentinels or 100 Thieves who can afford to just boot camp if need be. casting a LAN it was a little bit of a weird experience because we had a live audience, but we didn't have like a fans live audience. I believe it was mostly like Nettie's friends and family, as well as some friends and family of the players. Like Rouse has got a very young player base, so quite a few players required chaperones. So their parents were there, their siblings were there, etc. And they were probably the loudest ones in the crowd, alongside me, shilling for EMEA, as is tradition. And like it was also the first time that I got to consistently cast with a partner in Marvel Rivals, because for some reason in the EMEA we have a consistently rotating partner schedule, which is not standard at the like tier 1 of casting any esport. Usually you have your set partners, your Monty Doa, your Uber X, etc., your Jaws and Necra. But in EMEA we were rotating all the time, which was weird. I got to cast just with Moxie for this one, which was great because she's very intelligent and I am not. So we complement each other quite well. And honestly, it was an awesome experience of seeing iteration take place in real time. Nettie's like, if you guys watched day one, it was a little bit rough. There was some very long breaks, and there was a lot of filling going on. And Nettie's were very open to us as talent having some real input on the run of show of the broadcast after day one, including like getting the host who wasn't on stage up on the desk to actually have some back and forth and make sure it wasn't just two people's voices all the time. And that was a very heartening experience to feel like your expertise gets valued, you know? Sometimes when you cast a LAN, we're like, this is the run of show, like, but it's shit, but it's the run of show. And we're not going to be changing it for any reason. And like, okay, cool. It's not like you've got like 50 years of broadcast experience in your talent roster that you've paid for already, who can consult this for free. But like, I don't think we're going to need that. But it was great to be able to help iterate in real time and figure out how they can make their show better. I'm just waffling. It was a fantastic event, all in all, and it was a great time being there. And hopefully we get more LANs, because I like how they run their LANs. They seem so long as we start getting public access and public ticketing, I think they're going to be pretty hype events.
Yeah, and like you said, like it really does seem like the player base for Rivals is one young, which for it, but it's like I mean I wasn't able to watch it live because of work.
Mm-hmm.
But
and
like,
China,
yeah,
that's not the easiest times then.
that too, but still. However, like I never necessarily saw the crowd. Like it was like that's the biggest surprise to me is that this was like the first major LAN and it wasn't like an actual crowd. It was just basically employees, family, and friends.
Yeah, there were a couple of cosplayers there as well, but I believe they were also promotional attendees who were doing like content and stuff. It was mostly, I think mostly devs and just friends of Nettie's who managed to get in. I think maybe they had some fans in, especially for the Chinese teams. Like maybe there was like a closed ticketing process inside China that I'm unaware of. But I think to a degree it was a bit of a logistical test for Nettie's as well, to see how they would run a LAN like this. And it was more important for them to just have all the teams in the same place, as well as be in a position where they could like start getting professional shots of the teams. Because like as we mentioned, like with a younger player base, like there are limited resources, and it's also very difficult to be able to show off your players in a safe and responsible manner when they're young players, putting them in the public eye. So I think it's very important that Netties were able to take players who are 16 or 17 years old, put them in a controlled media environment where the pressure's a little bit off because they've got all the time in the world to like go through these interviews, get the pictures, take the videos, etc., without having to really expose them to like a much busier media landscape. Like I don't know if you guys remember like the press conferences in 2018 AL, but like some players out at 18 years old and were like, okay, like they're gonna say some dumb shit because they're kids. I think it's important to get like players through the rigmarole of existing not just as a player but as an esports personality as well. I think that's part of a reason why we had a kind of a slower land start.
And no, like that's something we've actually talked about with a couple other people on this podcast, like actually media training players, especially like I casting in like BPL and CGL, especially BPL. If we ever talk to a player in BPL, I am really nervous that like because it happens more often than not that they're just gonna start really cussing and just dropping like they're just gonna say fuck. They're gonna say we were shitting on the other team is something like that. And granted, it's BPL. It's a community league. It's a for fun league. Everyone's supposed to try to have fun, but some teams don't want to do that.
I saw a mass banning recently that has me very interested.
Oh, I need to talk to Knock about that.
I don't know if that's what you can cover on this episode or on this podcast at all, but I saw a lot of people get banned at once. Like, oh, there's some spicy shit happening over there.
I think I saw something about that. Like, hey, yeah, we're expecting a lot of mod mail about why you were banned. Tough shit. But like we've talked about with other people, especially like producers, especially producers, when it comes to having players be media trained, and you do see it a little bit in the Masters here, especially during face the Masters, especially during playoffs at NA. Like when they were doing interviews, like you could tell that they put out like the teams would put out their best person who they knew could actually talk. Could actually talk to and answer questions. I think the only time that someone slipped up was, I believe, the Young and Beautiful person that me and you ended up talking to, Hunter. I think they ended up saying like, fuck, and I think they apologized immediately after it, realizing that they weren't supposed to say that. But like, it's always, we've talked about like it's a good thing to be media trained, and like you said, like you're starting to build your personality a little more. We're starting to build your own brand because there is gonna be something after esports, and you've seen the players in at least in Overwatch that have been, and like CS:GO and a lot of the other games where they built up a brand being a pro, but then they are able to, cut being a pro and still just be a personality. Like I think the best example is probably Super at the moment that I would say there's a couple other names I've come from Overwatch that I don't necessarily like anymore, but Super is probably the best one to look at because it seems like
Super's great when it comes to the results. I think the most profound change I saw in any play was probably Hardy. When I was talking to Hardy in EU contenders, no offense to Hardy, him was the most rizzless interviewee I've ever seen. But over time, getting confident on the London Spitfire, bro, put so much effort into their fitness as well. They were really putting in the work of becoming a better player, and their charisma just rose incredibly until Hardy was like an incredible, not just a player, but a showman as well. And really was an epitome of like one of those franchise players where London Spitfire was all about that, like Hardy Rhine. And I think that you give players these opportunities and they will take them.
I miss Hot now. Like he's still on Twisted Minds technically, or is he still just looking for?
I think he's still like entirely a free agent right now.
I want Hot back, man. But
okay. If Overwatch won't have him, we will. I'll take RB. Bro could be a crazy strange player.
Okay, here let's tangent real quick because you talked about fitness with Hottie. You also really do post a lot about your fitness.
Yeah, I think that honestly, if I was coaching a team in esports and they were like masters, I would be like, okay, so instead of a scrim block, like we're gonna do one block on a day, and the other block you're all just gonna go to the gym. I think that in esports in particular, people underestimate the cognitive benefits of exercise and how much those translate to every other piece of your life in terms of your capacity for just like mental acuity if you're casting or your physical endurance if you're playing. I think exercise is incredibly important for just being the best like vessel within which the talent is contained, and taking care of that vessel I think allows for like at least making sure that you aren't held back in a physical sense and you can always hit your theoretical peak as best you can.
And I mean, like when Hadi made, like you mentioned Hadi, when Hadi made that change where he really started working out, and it became something much bigger for him because it became like he would be flexing on stage, he would like start doing push-ups.
Doing
It
his
was
press-ups
yeah.
with Danny Lim on there as well.
Wait, do you call push-ups press-up? Holy fuck, press-ups?
I would say press-ups, but I don't know if it's a lexicon thing or actually a differentiator. I think push-ups technically might be the ones with your knees on the floor, but I could be wrong.
Okay, go on, Dex. You got some thoughts on there?
No,
You got a
no.
thought
I was gonna say like, I'm not gonna say. So I don't want to say what my fucking gym teachers called that growing up.
I can imagine.
I know what they called it.
I was gonna say I don't remember my gym teacher having a specific name, but like if he had to do the knee push-ups, it was literally like the gym teacher didn't say bitch, but definitely like bitch push-ups. Like you definitely like the gym teacher actively made fun of you.
My gym teachers called them girl push-ups.
Yeah, that was saying they just called them girl push-ups. That's what they called it. And as an adolescent young boy, it's like, got to do the regular push-ups. Got to do the regular push-ups. Go, 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 go.
How many times can the cat go across the screen in one episode?
He's eyeing.
Do we have an over/under for that?
It's already 3. So. But
it's actually going to be part of a 5-step parlay. But anyway.
4.
Hey, there's another one. Let's go.
That's 2 reps of cat lifts.
How many sets are you doing?
I don't know. It depends on if she decides to jump up again.
Sometimes the weights come at you.
That's not a good thing. Officer. If the weights are coming at me, that's normally not a good thing. It normally means I'm about to be in a lot of pain.
You'll work out one way or another. Yeah, I'd say that like exercise is incredibly important, and also like we don't particularly like to talk about it, but as on-camera talent, there is a certain expectation that you know.
You gotta look good. You gotta like. Let's just put it you gotta look good.
Yeah, whether we like it or not, we work in the entertainment industry. We work in the show business industry, and there are, for better or for worse, standards that people get held to and compared against. And I'm kind of lucky that I don't have to really change my routine to comply with all the body standards, but it does mean that you got to put in effort elsewhere, like whether it's moisturizing every day, whether it's getting your hair cut all the time. Just sometimes it's just normal shit that you should be doing. But
don't worry, bud. Don't gotta get it cut. Don't worry.
That's true. you gotta give it a quick shine now.
I cut it all down one time. I might have to do it again because it looked decent after I decided just to nix it all. And I'm trying to do some stuff to get it to grow back. It's kind of responding, but it's also kind of not. And I don't know how much longer I can.
Shave it all, trim the beard up a little bit. You look just like Headrammer.
I'd be fine if I just looked like Headrammer, honestly. Give me that every day of the week. I'll just grow out the beard. I have been trying to start it out, so we'll see how far I can get. But I might just become the bald, big beard guy. That might just become me.
There's too many of those.
We've already got one of those in Marvel Rivals, unfortunately, so that niche is taken.
Overwatch, though. I don't know.
True.
It might be you, Hunter.
We don't have a bald big beard guy in Overwatch. We just got the beard guy in Mr. X.
True.
Okay, but so hear me out, Mr. X. Like, if you somehow see this, like, listen, buddy, time to go bald. It's time to tap it.
Holy shit!
On that
I feel
opportunity.
like Mr. X has had his aesthetic down to a T since like Overwatch League Season 2. Bro knows exactly how he wants to look, and
see, exactly. That's why it's time for a switch up. Like, for example, Danny's aesthetic was like perfect to a T for so long, and then like, what was it? This last event, just randomly seeing him have like the short hair again, I was just like, what is this? What happened to my man's?
Early 2000s Slim Shady.
Exactly. Like he like no, like don't get me wrong, he's still Danny. He still looks great, but like I just was sat there. I was like, where's like the longer black hair? Where is it?
Dude, Danny's one of the most sleeper strong people in the broadcast industry as well. Homie is crazy strong. Bro is an Adonis under the big clothes. Actually crazy lifter.
That surprises me. That really
I
does.
know. He really is like a full sleeper build when he's got the baggy clothes on. Like, he's got crazy biceps, lifts so much weight. Honestly, Danny's kind of goals, but his hair wasn't that surprising to me because I lurk in his in his gotcha streams because he's so fucking funny.
Wait,
Buying the horse girls and shit.
Let's go. We're back to the horse girls. Let's go.
I don't play gacha games because I don't particularly enjoy that shit, but I find like Dogman and Danny so funny when they're playing these stupid games.
I have a rule. One gotcha game. I haven't played the one gotcha game that I've been playing now for 7 years in like a couple months, so I might be breaking the habit.
Damn. You're free. You
I
can
never
choose a
spent
new gacha game.
I never
Exactly.
spent any money on it, so it's not like it was ever like
That's an
financially hurting me.
True. If you can make it through a gacha game for free, that's a lot of wisdom saves you've made. Congratulations.
Also, it's also just doing the daily login, and that's it for like probably a year and a half. I had all the currency I needed, never to do anything.
You guys mentioned Headrammer, who
Yes.
I believe runs CGL.
Yes.
Yes.
So I'd ask you guys as people who've come up more recently in Overwatch, do you think that Overwatch has a good training system for casters and broadcast talent? Because from what I've noticed, it feels like despite having probably one of the most closed talent ecosystems in all of esports right now, Overwatch has the best means of training casters because it has aggressively competent people like Headrammer and Solomon working these like tier 3/community leagues.
I think more
Yeah.
like production side, definitely. Like I think Solomon, especially at BPL, like they are able to just make anyone into a really, really good, whether it be observer, producer, anything behind the scenes. They are able to do just like magic with a lot of people, and a lot of people that we've had on this podcast already who start like I think got their start in BPL or some of the other community, but eventually got to BPL. Like they're starting to work lands. There were a lot that worked the Fun Haver land for Valorant. I know a lot of them have done the Face It broadcast when they're actually mainstream stuff. Like that's mostly a BPL production where they're bringing in people from BPL to do that. I think casters it's a little bit harder, but I think for like observers, producers, and like replay ops, I think that's where like these community leagues really shine. The casters, my feeling is if you're really good, you're gonna get noticed really, really quickly. Something like what happened with CB and now Tiny and Jesse, where they're getting noticed really, really well because they are really, really good.
One thing I would also like to say, because I've kind of like me personally in BPL as well as now in Rising, I've kind of been delegated as like the trainer caster for like if somebody's like brand spanking new, because happens all the time, random weekend event, somebody and they'll be like, hey, listen, if you want to try out broadcast stuff you never have before, we're always looking for new people. And Solomon knows that as much as I like shit talk and stuff like that, like because I plan to go into teaching as an actual career, like he realizes, hey, you'll actually teach somebody who wants to learn and stuff like that. And not even just myself, but other casters as well. Like, as long as somebody who's new is willing to approach us and be like, hey, listen, can I talk to you about this? Like 99 times out of 100, there's so much like sharing of the knowledge, being like, yeah, absolutely, I'll help you. What do you want to work on? What do you want to talk about? Stuff, da, 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 da. Like, there's very little of like the normal esports dynamic, I call it, where people like to kick the ladder out from under each other. And so it just kind of it feels more wholesome in a way for Overwatch, which is crazy because Overwatch normally, you think of esports, you think of all of the terrible, awful things.
But like, I still feel like with casters, like, I really wanted you to say something about the 1 out of 100 people. The story that we brought up a couple times, Mega. But do that when he gets back.
Wait, what's you're gonna have to narrow down the story.
The one where the person came in on their first cast and thought that
Oh,
everyone
the
else was
ego,
messing up.
yeah.
Yeah, that one.
But like, it's not like, again, I know he's not here, but it's one of those things where it's definitely like with casters, it's not. It's probably not as hard as I'm really making it out to be. It's just one of those things where I feel like a lot of people will say it is. It is really just the luck of the draw. Watching you today and who's really going to be able to. But I mean, okay, Mega, go ahead.
It's alright, I
Yeah,
had to unlock a door.
No, you're completely fine because Dex, as much as I was talking about how wholesome it is and how, Overwatch casters, as long as you're willing to approach us, we will gladly share the knowledge. We are not very gatekeepy or anything like that. You do have your horror stories, obviously. You have the people who immediately come in with an ego. Now, thankfully for this person, I don't recall their name. Even if I recalled it, I probably wouldn't shout it out every single time because that'd feel kind of mean, even though I'm a very mean person. But it was somebody who Solomon literally was like, "Hey, listen, this person had literally never cast before. Work with, sit with them for this broadcast, stuff like that." I was like, "I got you, bet." Um, and we go through, and obviously, first time ever on broadcast, there's going to be issues. But we get through it and things like that, and I'm sitting there compiling my notes and stuff like that I'm going to send to them. And we had only casted one series that night, and immediately I'm watching her like go off in the caster chat asking why she wasn't getting to cast more series that night, because they had like pulled us off to put other people up and stuff like that. And she immediately went on like this crazy ego trip trying to say that of how amazing she was and how she needed the camera on her, that way she could get discovered and stuff like that. And I just immediately was like, okay, so this is how we're gonna play. This is what we're doing.
You and I are gonna have an issue.
You and I are gonna have just a tiny bit of an issue, but uh yeah, let's just say I didn't get to type her notes because she just got removed from the Discord in a very quick and efficient way.
Are you a color caster, Megalass?
I
Or a
am
play-by-play?
I'm a traditionally color. However, I've purposely trained myself in both. That way, I could teach either or to people. Granted, I always feel like my color will be better, but you gotta have the basics of play by play down. Because again, also when you're in these community leagues and stuff like that, availability for the day and stuff like that, you kind of the more flexible you are, the more you can actually get in there and cast some of these games and stuff.
Feels like it's kind of a necessity of a genre as well for hero shooters. Like as much as we'd like to believe that it's color play-by-play, it is going to bleed into hybrid just due to the pace of the game. Sometimes that shit is just too fast, and otherwise the color's gonna say like 2 lines and then be silent for like 6 minutes.
That has happened to me so much recently, specifically in Overwatch. With the stuff I've been starting to get to do in Valorant, it's not as much of a problem. But like Overwatch specifically, I don't know what it is recently, but this like RAM meta that we've been stuck in for so long is just so unbelievable. Like teams are just willing to fight for hours on end. And so as the color, you're just like, yep, these teams have ults. All right, here you go, play by play. 10 more minutes, go ahead.
Another 10 minutes to play-by-play. So if that's how you guys introduce casters, is there like a collective improvement mechanism for like those of you who already know that you're good at this? Like between you guys, OC, Bull Skunk, do you guys do like cross reviews? I guess Spectrum would be in there as well.
Yeah, I mean, like it's one of those things where it just kind of depends on the levels. Like it used to very much be like VOD reviewing, uh, at least for myself, right? Like obviously VOD reviewing my own cast and then getting people, who I knew were kind of in that next level, people like Bullskunk and stuff, to be like, hey, can you just look at this gameplay or look at this cast real quick, kind of tell me what your thoughts are. But it's very odd because once you kind of reach the level that you feel like you're able to confidently say, yeah, I'm on equal footing with these people, it then just is pure VOD reviews, which can be helpful, but you're kind of just like stuck in an echo chamber of just hearing the same thing that you already know that you're going to have to work on or something like that. And so, like me personally, I just do self VOD reviews all the time.
Me and Hunter, when we do the Facets, we always try to, keep a good idea of like what we think that they're like, what we think each other is struggling on, and we talk about it after the games. I've done. I mean, I did a semi VOD review. It wasn't a VOD of my own casting, but it was Spectreon going over a game from, I think it was EWC, and muting it and just telling me like what would you say here as the color of like what's going on, and like breaking it all down. Like, I'll give Spectreon a lot of credit. Like, that kid understands so much of the game to the point where like it's stuff you don't need to know, but he will lay it out in a way that make it sound like it's the most interesting thing in the world. Sometimes, like, it's really good.
Bit of a painter with with the analysis.
A bit of a painter and a bit of he'll call you a dumbass straight to your face, and you'll just be like, yeah, you're probably right.
I understand what you mean about like the idea of like an echo chamber when it comes to the productive capacity of VOD reviews, I suppose. Because I'm kind of in that situation in Marvel Rivals at the moment, where I feel like I'm one of the best Marvel Rivals play-by-plays, and when it comes to getting input on my casting and my VOD reviews, I would trust Uber, and I would trust Achilleos, you know?
Mhm.
And they don't even cast that much Marvel Rivals, so it's difficult to get like a non-self VOD review where because obviously all feedback is valuable because every person's a member of the audience, but we find it increasingly difficult to internalize the advice of people whose qualifications we perhaps don't respect. Like, like maybe that's just me going on an ego trip there, but it feels like there's a certain point where like I want to know that the person that is VOD reviewing me is better at this than me, so that they can give me direction upwards rather than direction sideways or potentially downwards.
Yeah, no, I mean, I agree with that wholeheartedly, and it's one of the things that like for a viewer listening that doesn't know anything about esports, it can sound like a crazy ego trip, like, oh, what, you think you're better than everybody, but like when you're at a position like you are specifically, like you said with rivals, uh, it you truly are one of the best, and that's not like glaze. That's just kind of the facts of the situation, and so it does create those situations where you're just like, I can't look towards anybody. There's just me. I'm at the top of the mountain, type energy.
Yeah, I know
And
there's so much better to do, but I don't know how to how to be guided there. I don't know how to find my Sherpa.
everybody just needs like a casting guru just living in the mountains or something that they can like
True.
ascend and talk to. But like actually, I think one way to think about it as well is like in terms of like think of it in the situation that players are in, right? It's something that happens when if a team wins tournament or if like a new character comes out and somebody's able to sort of pick it up really quickly, um, those sort of things, it creates that same exact situation in a player's eyes where it's like, okay, if I'm kind of at the top, where do I go from here? And generally speaking, it's just sort of basically them testing stuff out, them continuing to improve of their own accord by just putting more reps in. And then eventually, somebody's going to come along randomly and, they'll stumble on something new. And it's like, oh, that's cool. And just being willing to be adaptable and kind of add that into your repertoire when it comes up is, I feel like that's just the best way to not just like, it feels like just saying, just stay ahead feels wrong, but like, that's kind of what it is. It's
Yeah,
just sort of
there's
just,
always going to be someone new, someone more innovative, someone better. Like
Mhm.
it's like an Overwatch. Like Ryu Hong was the best honor in the world in
Yeah.
2017, and then in 2020 we're like, okay, this guy's kind of old news, just because the average skill level rises so much, and I feel like casting has definitely been that way as well. Like
Mhm.
exposure to games like Overwatch in the mainstream, where it feels like the casting skill peak is so high because it's such a fast and complicated game that economy of words alongside storytelling and the gravitas and tone have, I think, really elevated even baseline casting in Overwatch, where like if I took us four as we are now as casters, longed us back in 17, 2016,
Mhm.
like there's a good chance we make contenders, you know? Just because the baseline level has improved like so much that we have just the baseline competence is really good.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. Like, it's just like that like it truly is just the best way to sum it up, because again, people are just always improving, always finding new tactics and stuff like that. And like you said, Overwatch specifically is such a crazy game. Like, people obviously have their comparison with Rivals and stuff like that, but I feel like Rivals obviously can be hectic, but Overwatch is just such another level of hectic, especially with the layers of nuance because the game's been out for so many years. Like, if you're standing out as, let's say a color caster or something like that in Overwatch, you really like you got to know your stuff like you're a GM level coach. Like, that's just sort of
Mm-hmm.
unfortunately the baseline that you have to be at nowadays.
Yeah, that was a real problem for me in Overwatch League because I was a color caster in Overwatch League. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm not very smart.
Same.
Like I ended up as a color caster because for Overwatch contenders they recruited fucking 3 play-by-play casters, and I was the most junior, so I'm the one who's got to swap. I'm the bitch, you know, because I've cast like one event before and it was stolen from NetEase, so I'm going color. So I was in the color hole for a while, and like that's a good point to bring up, like if we're just talking about casting in general as an art, that sometimes you've got to realize that if you try to be a smart color caster when you are next to Avril, next to Caster, maybe it's better to go down the funny route or the personality route, because I was never going to compete with Avril and Custer, and I'm very comfortable saying that they are just much more intelligent when it comes to the game than I am. And I think that one of the interesting performing aspects of casting is that even within our roles we have considerable leeway for what kind of approach we take. I was VOD reviewing a very new caster the other day who quite uber pilled. Um, so I was probably a good mentor for them because I'm like TEMU Uber when it comes to my play-by-play.
There's the episode name.
Team Uber.
And
Cheers to that.
like they had like a bank of phrases, and I told them to throw that shit in the bin because they ended up just scrolling too much during a cast to actually pay attention, looking for the perfect phrase for something. But I can't come up with like this flowery language on the go. But before we'd done a VOD review, we were just chatting, you know, like as friends and fellow gamers, and they were showing me all of the, like they were screen sharing like the VOD to me, and I saw in their other tab that they had like some Dungeon Master notes, and they had some great writing for Dungeons and Dragons that they were running for their campaign. I was like, well, like this is part of your personality. If you want to use flowery language, like put yourself in the Dungeon Master headspace, and you can use that to try and communicate effectively in the middle of a hectic fight, just like you do when you're playing D&D. Because we've all got these like certain little niches where we have our passions and we have our comforts. Like for some people, it might be a sport like basketball. For some people, it's Dungeons and Dragons. For some people like me, it's flowery Shakespearean language, and it gives so much leeway when it comes to actually finding your style and where you're able to thrive as an individual off your personality. So I just decided to rant on you there for no reason.
Oh no, I wouldn't say that was a rant at all, but like that's truly factual. Like, just and it's one of those things where to say a caster needs a gimmick, it sounds wrong. Like, obviously, the first thing if you're ever attempted to actually learn this profession is truly just to put in the time, get your baseline, improve. But like you said, not everybody is going to be the next Uber, and if you can find you know, something that like helps keep you in the moment, like go for it every single time. I will tell people that easily.
Yeah, you can have your fundamentals, and when you add you on top of it, you know.
Mhm.
I was gonna make a very bad self-depreciating joke right there, but
No.
I'm decided not to.
I've just got my fundamentals.
Fundamentals and nothing else. Look at me. Do you think there's any good thing I could say?
We're
I
trying
feel
to
bad that I'm
identify
not saying
the
anything.
toys in the back, but I can only make out the D from the Overwatch League ones. Are those
Um,
amiibos?
Yeah. Those are those right here.
Hmm.
Daria, Sims, Sombra.
I find that people's rooms are often like a fun indication of what they're into and like what they're comfortable showing off. You know, like your boards.
I painted all those. That as a hobby.
Oh, you do painting?
Semi decently. Semi decently.
Is that one like Omnic themed?
That one?
The blue one, yeah.
That is actually from one of my favorite video games of all time, Transistor. That is the sword from the game.
Oh, that's the one from the guys who made what, Fury and
Hades.
Bastion?
Yes.
Hades.
Yes. I need to play
I'm
Bastion.
gonna be.
Super Giant Studios, I
Yes.
think they're called or something.
Supergiant Games. Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh no.
But
Uh-oh.
so this is actually
Is this show and tell? Are we doing show and tell?
It is show and tell because this is a nostalgic item. This is an old item back in 2018. This is a holiday Pachimari right here, still in the box.
Oh.
Thing's
It's
not
green
sitting
screen.
acceptable.
Fucking green screen.
It does. Oh, is it going through? Green screen, you must go away for about 15 seconds. Yeah, I'm gonna go behind the curtain here. There it is.
Oh wow, it's very green.
That is obnoxiously
It
green.
is obnoxious. Yes. But no, it is mine. It'll be mine forever.
Got so
And
much
I
cool memorabilia.
still haven't opened it. Now the question is, will I ever open
I mean, at this point you
Probably.
can.
Quick.
At this point you can.
eBay it. See how much it's worth not open.
eBay?
Spend $900 sending it to PSA to get it graded.
Oh, Lord.
I just want to
Go
say,
ahead.
well, yeah, like, there's two things I want to comment on. First off, all of you saying that's an obnoxious green when it's very similar to my hair color. All right, I see y'all.
It's an
it's fine.
obnoxious
Ooh.
green.
I see y'all. But second,
Double down.
my mind was blown when you said that was a sword from Transistor, because I'm gonna be so real. I just thought it was like I thought it was like in hindsight, I don't know why I thought this, but I thought it was like one of like Symmetra's. You know how like her
Oh,
default
the combat
outfit,
stuff.
like the dress has the two flowy tails. I
Yeah.
just thought it was one of those for some reason this entire time.
I understand that, especially as a sim main, yeah. Funny,
Dude, Symmetra's redesign to Overwatch 2 is actually so good.
it is.
I wish they released more recolors for a base Overwatch 2 skin. That shit's fire.
Funny enough, sim main, I have a fucking somber board on the other side of that.
I'm a Sombra Malga player. I have no moral standing.
Okay, but here's the thing. I will defend Malga players to the ends of the earth, because like, sure, obviously the metas, they got annoying when it cropped up, but Malga is peak hero fantasy. I've said this so many times. You are a giant dude with two fucking miniguns. Like, how is that not cool?
It's just a goofy big guy, you know? Just want to have a gun on each hand and a smile on my face.
Exactly. Like, genuinely, there's so much shit on Malga purely because the metas got annoying, but like, it truly is a good character design, in my opinion.
No, I
When I-
tend to not mind playing against Malga either, unless I'm another tank. I almost said Vanguard there. The brain rot is real.
When I called Malga a brick shit house earlier,
I mean, you're not wrong.
sometimes you just got.
He's a big boy.
Sometimes you just gotta be built like fucking Kingpin from Spider-Verse.
Sometimes you just need your aspect ratio adjusted.
You need to be in 4:3 just to keep things balanced.
That's it. Hits you with the CRT monitor resolution.
Oh my goodness.
All right, but let's try to get. I mean, we're not gonna get back on track here, but let's at least try to talk about some other. I mean, you've talked about a little bit here. You know, casting in contenders, eventually working your way up the ladder. Was there ever a point while you were going up that you thought like this is gonna be it for me? I don't see another another step to go up here. Did you ever think like this is as high as I'm gonna go? There's no way I'm gonna get any higher.
Honestly, not really. Like the sad thing about Overwatch these days is that it's so closed. It really did feel like a climbable system in like 2018 because the OWL talent roster was growing at the time, you know? Like they kept adding pairs. They split the regions off into East and West, so like there was the opportunity for like more broadcast talent to come in and do the weird hours once they split off from Bala. There were like it always felt like we were just on the precipice because I had and well have a lot of faith in like the products that Lemon and I had as casters, and it always felt like we were waiting for someone to retire, you know, and that once someone retired, we'd be like a shoe in to take that spot because it felt like we were good. There's community support behind us, and the teams liked us as well. So I don't think that I think I was lucky enough that I kept being driven forward by the idea that I would get to Overwatch League, or at least I had the chance to make it to Overwatch League. And it makes me very sad these days thinking about how inaccessible or how impenetrable it seems like maybe not just Overwatch's talent ecosystem, but certainly at least Overwatch's talent ecosystem was, in that they took a roster of 10 or 12 incredibly talented people, went down to 4 casters for the entire esport, basically. And, like, maybe you occasionally get given the fucking dick cheese of, hey, you can cast a World Cup qualifier or something. Enjoy. And then on top of that, like, if they open up more casting spots, like, you're competing with Avril, you're competing with Vast, you're competing with Lemon, you're competing with me. You like, there's such a waiting list beyond those 4 as well that it's just depressingly inadvanceable. To give a very sour note to your question,
No, it's
like
fine.
the current state of it
Mm.
feels soul crushing.
No.
And I mean, like, I can tell you this. I think we kind of feel it very little with where we are right now, with the 3 of us where we are. But like, it's been something like I think all 3 of us have been in conversations where off the podcast and like we're playing games with other people. It's like especially like there were a couple situations in the last stage of OWCS where hey, someone's internet died. They couldn't they or someone was out sick and you only had one caster there that day. And I think the one that you could point is when they had Zoe cast.
Yeah.
Like
Oh yeah.
it's one of those things where
I
it's
love
like,
Zoe with
yes,
all my
yeah,
heart.
we all
but
do.
the fact that they like would rather have Zoe or Reinforce or Jake cast than any of their stable of talent who have been sitting on the sidelines for 2 years and are raring to go. Like, obviously, they're probably just there for cool time. So when someone's internet drops, but there are some we've known in advance where they just move over the host anyway, which is weird. Like on a broadcast where someone's internet dies and the host is just there, they are in the call. Like sometimes that's a call that you've got to make because maybe Avril's asleep. It's like fucking 4 a.m. in Australia. maybe Lemon's doing VCT. But there are situations where it seems to be planned weeks in advance, but they won't reach out to their like expert and former talent who used to feature on their worldwide league or their contenders talent. Like, thankfully, it seems like we've got a little bit of Rich Rad, a little bit of Kenobi here and there, but it does feel very I haven't been able to fill in any of the NA broadcasts yet, but I was lucky enough to at least get offered the table scraps of 3 broadcasts of Korea with Avril, which are great fun, by the way. Avril's a fantastic co-caster. Very similar to Moxie. I think that they both match the hyper intelligent color caster vibe very well.
Where I was kind of going with that, there's going to be these problems that, you know, maybe like you said, you know about weeks in advance, or hey, something happened the day of. I never understood why they don't have like 1 or 2 casters that are just kind of on like they're flip flopping every week as like emergency casters. As a worst case scenario, they're there, they're ready to go. They're might never see them, but it's like, hey, if everything goes to hell with one person, at least we have this person here who's not a part of the desk come in and cast the series. Like, I've never understood why they don't just have like that just kind of sitting there. And I understand it's probably a budget thing, I would imagine, but like we said, we love So. That was it was entertaining to watch her try, and she really did. But it was rough.
I mean, So used to be a caster for StarCraft, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
But obviously, it's been hosting for nigh on 10 years straight now. And she's been incredible in that role. Essentially, is the mascot of all of Overwatch Esports.
Yeah.
And I think it just comes from like they're not being great broadcast opportunities in tier 2. Like, Face It has kind of co-opted what Contenders was, right? And Face It's putting on 2 days of official broadcast per season.
Yep.
Everything else is co-stream. Everything else.
They don't do day. They don't do day 1 of playoffs, and I think the only way you could is if you co-stream. But like, I think me and Hunter tried to do a team, and they just said we don't want it co-streamed. The team said no to us.
Yeah,
teams will do that.
Yeah, and to be fair, and I don't mean to say this against Oceania, against America, almost understandably, they'll only do North America and EMEA. We pretty much almost single-handedly took care of South America's playoff.
Yeah, like obviously the talent capacity is going to shrink when there are just less broadcast days on the docket, but it is a shame considering that we used to have such a vibrant talent ecosystem, and now everyone's kind of scattered to the 4 winds, and that makes it harder for people to like get a foothold in other esports like Marvel Rivals as well, because hey, you go to Marvel Rivals, guess what, bitch, you're competing against me now. Like, I dad didn't want to go after Owl, so now you're gonna go against our talent for your plucky new esport. So good luck, idiot.
Good luck, idiot is crazy, but it's the reality of it. And I mean, also speaking of like, it's actually happening more and more, and I at least think that co-streamers are starting to get more recognition. But like, you know, something that I see constantly on my timeline now is, hey, Bullskunk is carrying tier 2, and obviously, you know, it's a slight slight to, you know, people like, you know, the other people who are covering Face It, but Bullskunk obviously has been holding it the fuck down, and that's purely on volunteer. Like, Face It does not give him shit for that. It is completely, he has to sit there and do it himself of his own volition. And thankfully, there's enough of a community around him that he can do it. But like, the fact that your new ecosystem compared to how open Overwatch used to be is literally just basically volunteer work, hoping and praying that people will be as dedicated as, you know, someone like Bullskunk is to it. You know, it's an inherently flawed system because you're basically just preying upon the kindness of others to be like, yeah, we don't need to pay people, it's fine. And it feels kind of scummy because, as you said, there was a point like 2019, 2020 where like it felt wide open. Like it felt like there truly was actually a path for people to continue to climb. Uh, and just to not have that anymore, it really, really sucks.
Yeah, it hurts more because Overwatch as a game is getting better and better. Like,
Yeah.
I feel a little bit bitter towards Overwatch, of course. Like, who wouldn't after they get fucking fired, as it were, but just not renewed? But I'm willing to admit that the last few seasons for Overwatch have been banger change after banger change. And I think that the move towards banning in competitive has been fantastic. I think that the esport, like, in terms of the quality of games, is in a fantastic place. But we just have less and less of it over time, which really hurts. And, like, yeah, 2024, Tier 2 was Bullskunk. Like, it seems to be expanding now in terms of face coverage, but 2024, Bullskunk was just Tier 2. He was. But he was a saint, but he was exploited. Is the reality of it. And I love Bullskunk. I think he's incredibly talented, and I think he got taken for a fucking ride. And like it kind of created this ecosystem where Tier 2 now exists on a volunteer basis, and maybe that's the financial reality of esports right now, that Tier 2 is no longer a supportable no longer in a supportable position, and it's sad, and we can mourn for the past. But I wish that there was a little bit more capacity for advancement or mobility between these echelons.
Yeah, absolutely. Trying to think of how we trend.
Do we need to
No,
transition?
there will
This
be
is-
doom, and there will be only doom.
to be fair, this is the realest we've been in a hot minute, because it is the reality that it's not that simple as to go into casting. Hey, I'm good at this, and I can suddenly start making a living. It's not that easy.
Yeah,
It's not.
True. Like, if the best caster ever to turn up in Overwatch turned up right now, I think they're fucked.
yeah.
It's real. It's actually so real because there's just, oh my gosh, like I like it's actually frustrating me more and more to think about, purely because again, it's like there's so much that you could do. Like, I understand budget reasons and stuff like that, if that's what they want to quote, right? But like, considering how bare bones they've been running it, not just in terms of having less talent, but also just less streams. Like, there's days that we're not covering day ones of tournaments anymore, like actual major tournaments with like implications of who's going to land and stuff like that. We're just not covering that. Like, there's got to be some kind of budget for that, surely. Like, surely we can be a little bit less stingy.
Shout out DreamHack Dallas Day 1.
Oh
Yeah.
goodness.
Yeah, and it's why it hurts, because it feels like Overwatch is doing really well at the moment. It feels like there might be the capacity to have that kind of investment there. We're getting the team bundles. That shit's sick. We're getting great stadium releases. Overwatch is probably in the best space it's been as a game for a long time, and it feels like that's not being reflected in how much love the esport is getting.
I 100% agree with that. Overwatch is probably in its best spot. Probably since the end of Overwatch 1. It's probably in its best spot. But I think it's just the whole thing of where, like, I've said it before on this podcast, Overwatch, I believe, is the punching bag of like all esports, because of all the bad shit that happened at Blizzard itself, and then the bad shit that happened at the start of Overwatch 2. But right now, I think the current team is doing amazing work to at least get the game back into a very respectable spot, and hopefully the esport is not that far behind.
I mean, what one can dream. Like,
Yeah.
it's nice to see people who are quote unquote our people making it into the core Overwatch dev team. Like, Custer's there, Miss Liz is there, Bailey's there. Like, people who came up in shit like Broadcast GG, Elo Hell. They did the broadcast. They were on the floor at the LANs giving a shit. And I'm hoping that we are steadily infiltrating. You know, we're planting our KGB agents.
We're planting them. We're getting them inside. I think,
They're in the
like,
walls.
honestly, the last thing I kind of want to hit on, like, at least for me on this topic that I feel is important, is because for all of Overwatch League, right, for the entirety of that existence, that was tied to like the game that like the devs were kind of not in cahoots. It would be like kind of the wrong words, but they were completely aware of the esport. They knew they were like, all right, we have to kind of make sure that these balance patches are coming out. We have to kind of time stuff and things like that. Ever since, signing everything over to Face It, like, sure, maybe you save some money, but like, there's been such a disconnect. Like you were saying, like, the game is in the best state it's ever been right now, and the esport just doesn't reflect that in the slightest because there's just this insane level of disconnect, and I feel like that's not really going to be fixed unless you just reintegrate the esport back into like the dev team, which hopefully the people who we now technically have on the inside can maybe start pushing for.
I mean, maybe this is all like an indicator for not to go. I guess we're forecasters, and a prod conversation is going to go back towards casting. The business model of an esports caster has fundamentally changed for people getting into it now to be a content creator and co-stream personality, and it's the reality of the current fiscal situation of esports, but that's the case. But it's also sad because it feels like it more and more commodifies what I at least viewed as a performance art that is taken away for like maybe we look for the best clip here. Maybe we need to TikTokify this a little bit. And co-streams have a level of casualness about them where I'm not sure if people are going to appreciate their favorite co-streaming caster going into a very sanitized broadcast world where you can't swear, where you've got to be a little bit mindful of the sponsors, where Disney's lawyers are listening, and things get a little bit out of hand, things get a little bit dicey. And like you guys running like South America's Faces, part of the change in how like the caster business model works. Like, I don't know if you make any money from that. I assume not, but I am a doomer.
No.
I mean, I could buy a couple of Snickers bars, but that's about
you get
it.
ad rev from those.
I mean, if you could call it ad revenue, you could call it that.
But yeah, like you can't just be a caster
fair.
anymore. You've got to be a content creator. You've got to be a streamer. Got to be a YouTuber. You got to hit the co-streams at the same time, and that brings me back to what I was saying before. Like, the best caster in the world right now could turn up in Overwatch, and they wouldn't be able to become a caster by casting. They'd have to become a caster by becoming a successful content creator and pivoting, which is unfortunate.
See, this leads me into a Glaze session that's completely unnecessary, but this is why people like Sideshow were ahead of the curve. That fucker's
Yeah.
sitting there with the co-streams and just, again, the fucker was sat there doing dumb, stupid gimmicks, and we all laughed at him. But he's like, he figured it out before any of us. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
I just gotta give props to that.
I guess necessity is the mother of invention, right? Like, happened because you couldn't get a visa. Now we're having to do this shit because no one can get fucking paid in tier 2. Someone's gonna come up with the next Sideshow gimmick.
But let's transition into maybe a little bit less doom and gloom here. Just slightly.
Good luck.
Just slightly.
Slightly.
Like, they just tell me, give me your favorite moment from your entire career at like the moment that you will kind of go back to maybe 10, 20 years down the line and say, this is something that I can go back to and watch every day. Or maybe it's not something you can, but something like you can go back and just tell the story over and over and over again. And it'll be a story that never gets old to you.
I think my favorite moment doesn't have as much like storytelling potential, but it was just the call at the end of Hangzhou Spark versus Atlanta Reign in the first match of 2023 Grand Finals for OWL. like hitting, like as a performer, hitting the East demands your respect with the power and the timing and the impact, I think really, like my Maslow's hierarchy of needs as a performer went dinged all the way to the top. And that felt like peak storytelling. It personally meant a lot to me as well, because Lemon and I were on first. We were in what you would call the LAN tech bitch scenario, where, where you are the first people on at LAN doing a low stakes game because you're at LAN. Some shit's going to go wrong. And it was Atlanta versus Hangzhou Spark. Atlanta with that Lip Stalker DPS line, given how dominant they'd been that season, they were supposed to essentially sweep through Hangzhou, probably win the entire thing afterwards. And it starts that way. They get reverse swept by Hangzhou, team that no one was really counting on, the plucky underdogs from China. And it was just an unbelievable subversion of expectations. Such a visceral payoff for how much people were underrating these players and how much work they put in, how much talent they had, and being able to deliver an iconic soundbite or a bookend to one of the best stories I'd ever told was a truly fulfilling and soul brightening moment for me as a storyteller and, to a degree, a historian of Overwatch esports.
No,
Yeah,
like
he's at a
love how
loss
Dex-
for words.
no, like it's the thing where like you're talking about this fucking god. I can't speak.
If you have my Twitter, it's the very first thing in my pinned tweet in the show reel.
Not like I would say, while Dex is pulling that up, I feel that on such a level because like while I am traditionally a color caster, like there are so many times that like I've gotten to like a random CGL match or a random CGL finals. I get to go in and do play by play, and in my mind all the time is like those sound bites, those random clips.
Yeah.
Because you have thoughts about it. You're like, oh, this would be fun to do, and just whatever you can up with, and if you can actually find one to like fit in the moment, it's great. I love it so much.
Here we go. That's fine. It'll be okay. Maybe.
Least demand your respect. Stalker caught by Shy Banana coming through.
I wouldn't worry about the rest of it. Old shit. But like that felt like such a bookend to an epic series.
Yeah.
And I was a color caster at the time as well, so that's the first time I got to really show off my.
You just straight up took over.
Yeah. I mean, Lemon was a little bit sick at the time, so I was covering a little bit more play-by-play for that series, but people hadn't really seen my. I think I have pretty fantastic vocal control as a play-by-play. I think it's a differentiating factor, and it's great to be able to like put all of your skills into one moment. You know, you're like, this is my spirit bomb.
I was gonna say like I was supposed to, like my flight was delayed by like an hour and a half, and because of that hour and a half, I missed that first game, and I was so pissed. Because I remember landing and looking at my phone, seeing that the Spark won. I was like, "Holy fuck!" As someone who like this goes outside of esports and into traditional sports. I'm a Charlotte fan for almost everything, and in every sport, our rivals are teams from Atlanta. So I was like, "Fuck, Atlanta's choking. This is amazing. I love it." Then I got a lot of free stuff from the rain. social media manager who was just handing out a lot of their merch. I got a gator hat. I got some Staples sweatpants. Like those are some of the best sweatpants I have.
Yeah, like the sweatpants from that Overwatch League season, actually, it's so good. Freaking Boga, the little asshole, was wearing Toronto Defiant sweatpants at Marvel Rivals Ignite while being interviewed on stage by Cozy. I respect that they're comfy as balls, but brother, come on.
Get on the teams. Get on the teams to get them, you know, the proper outerwear.
Yeah. Gotta start getting that Kongdu style merch to sell some boiler suits.
Nah, poker's real for that. Like thinking about it, like even if he was given another pair of pants, fucker would have done it anyway. That's why he's real.
I love Boga.
There's so many personalities now in Rivals. I love it.
Yeah, slowly growing.
Overwatch. Like, we've talked about before where the personalities in Overwatch NA stuck to where the point where Rack Attack's mother was one of the more popular people, was generally amazing, but it also just tells you how bad it is.
We love Kimmy.
We love
I
Mama
mean,
Rack.
she worked hard on that brand. Like she was in the 2019 NA contenders chat. Stop killing my son. She was grinding out the absolute dog shit of Paris Eternal. She waded through Esports Vietnam and came out the other side with the sun on Les Gatos Guapos and like, yes, this is our moment.
Fucking
God's strongest soldier.
I made the joke about halfway through last stage. How funny would it be if Genji's co-streamer made EWC and they didn't? Then it happened.
I mean, Genji is going for the absolute ringer in their hero shooters right now. Like they're not great at they're not great at Marvel Rivals either.
Another rebuild.
Which
That's all
begs
they
the
need.
question: what are they great at?
League, I
Rocket
believe.
League.
Yeah, I think they're pretty good at MOBAs. Also, I think they do okay in Rainbow Six, but I'm not sure.
Rocket League.
Rainbow Six. What a nightmare.
I know they used to be generally the best team in Heroes of the Storm back in 2020 when that shut down. They won the last HGS.
Shout out HOTS and Blizzard for having to make us play it like once every year to get skins.
Dude, I actually like HOTS, unironically. It's like League, but I'm not in prison for 20 minutes.
Thank you. Someone else says it. Like there's some skins in HOTS that are actually really good that I know a lot of people want actually in Overwatch.
Yeah, like some of those Diva skins should have been ported a while ago.
Yeah. Hunter.
Hi.
Our guest here.
Oh, I've always got a question. A question I might already know the answer, but I'm gonna ask anyway. I asked this to everybody, at least for the last like month or two, whatever. Everyone's gone through a few gamer tags in life, but eventually we stick with that one. Feels like everyone collectively here has the one they're gonna stick with for the rest of their career. So specifically, where does leg day come?
Leg day, I got when I first started streaming Star Wars: The Old Republic. I used to be a ranked PvP streamer in my far less tame days, and there's a reason all those VODs are deleted. MMO PvPers are not nice people, me included. And I wanted to figure out what I was going to call my stream. And one of my guildmates suggested that I was pretty fit at the time. Maybe I should be leg day, because I had the inherent marketing line of you should never skip leg day when it came to my stream. So I was like, you know what? That's as good as anything. So it was either that or my RuneScape name, Dark Rune 377, which I don't think was gonna make it all the way to the top. I'm not gonna lie. That's the story of leg day, and then I got helped out by an agency to get the Twitter at, And that means that every now and then I get a wonderful I hate at leg day from a frustrated gym goer. And I'm like, feelings mutual, bud, every time.
Start responding like, "Hey, fuck you, man."
I just comment back to him like, fuck you, man.
I have feelings too.
It's just it's from like the Twitter newbies who don't understand like hashtag and at differences. They just give I hate at leg day. Boo. Also means I'm gonna be like chronically ungoogleable, but that is what it is.
Okay, let me figure this out right now. Let's figure this out together. Actually, if I actually no, let me not do that on stream in case something random shows. Yeah, no, it's just
What
workouts.
bad could show up from leg day?
You never know.
Mm,
It's just workout stuff. Okay.
yeah.
Well, you made sure it was one word, right? I'm saying you made sure it was one word, right?
Yeah.
I'm not sure. Okay. Okay. I'm just asking. I'm just asking a question.
Like here.
I decided
making
eventually
sure.
to format it in all caps as well because people kept randomly capitalizing with D in it. So I was like, you know what? We're all caps now.
Yeah, no, still same thing.
Yeah, I don't think that changed anything.
No, it
in the
doesn't.
Google results.
No.
Most chronically ungoogleable cast, apart from Uber, who is also chronically ungoogleable.
We just need a caster to come in with the name Bob.
Bob the caster.
There you go.
Okay, very good.
Mega.
Yeah, no. So yeah, I was gonna say, Dex, you gotta get my image ready because I also have a question I ask everyone.
Oh,
Look at this, so
let's
ready.
go.
So generally, this started as like I want to make people who don't spew hate and vitriol spew hate and vitriol, but I've realized it's 10 times funnier if like you can go for something that you actually get upset about that actually grinds your gears, or if you can think of like a really petty story from like a LAN or something where like you're not actually mad but you're just like, you know what, this upsets me, like you can go for it. But yeah, just the general question of what is something in esports that has grinded your gears.
oh, such a smorgasbord of potential bullshittery. Well, at Spectron to begin with, NA players are the least punctual fucks of all time, who do not respect anyone's time at all. North American players, no matter what, will somehow manage to delay the start of any series for 10 minutes so someone can take their dog out to see their neighbors take a shit in a clock or something. Just the most random series of events could happen. Like, a North American player could look outside their window at a bird and see that it has recently procured a clutch of eggs, and they need to return those eggs to a nearby nest that they think it's actually from. They're reappropriating the eggs of a bird that they believe have been stolen. Like, okay, guys, we're gonna need 15 minutes to start these series. I've got to go and repatriate those bird eggs. I'm like, what the fuck? These people are the least punctual fucks in existence, and every time it grinds my gears. Also, furthermore, there are some players. Now, I'm not saying this is every case where a player has not been paid, because there are a lot of times where players have been fucked over by organizations who have just not played their players because they are cunts. But there are also times where players complain they have not been paid where it's entirely their fault. Because it turns out if you're going to get paid by a multinational entity in terms of prize money, you need to submit some information about tax, your name, your address, your bank account. And I know you fucks aren't doing that because there are other teams who have competent managers who've submitted that information who got paid on time with their prize money. Because it turns out that when you're dealing with a multinational corporation like Microsoft, they can't just fucking PayPal you. Somebody needs to hear this and fix their fucking behavior.
I think that's the first time we had someone go on a rant.
It's so real though. It's so real. Oh my gosh. Granted, that rant is funny, extra funny to me as somebody who's owed COP pricing from literally a year ago that I've never got, and I did everything right. But like,
Yeah,
no, that is
sometimes
just
you just won't get paid, and that's not your fault. But there are often times where you're not getting paid, and it very much is. you know, I've gotten paid every time because I'm very lucky. And also, I'm a businessman who makes sure to do my invoicing correctly every time.
Oh,
It happens.
that's a great answer. That's a great answer.
And yeah, NA players, stop fucking climbing up trees to repatriate eggs to other bird nests. Like, the series starts when the series fucking starts. I don't know why it's always NA players, but it is. Their freedom.
I've had series delayed by fire alarms. I've had series delayed by.
The weirdest that once I was casting a fucking, I believe it was Envy, their old Envy roster with like Speedley and Co. in 2019 contenders. I think like 4 players mice all ran out of batteries at once. Because clearly they all had like a scheduled time, but they like plugged them in before scrims or whatever. And like 4 players might just ran out of charge, and we have to delay the series. Like we had to pause midway through by 50 minutes. Like, okay, so OG and Speedley and Sam and so on, all of their mice died. So I've had a series fucking paused because someone's OLED monitor entered the pixel refresh state. They had the they they just didn't turn off the auto fucking pixel rescan. So they're for like 8 minutes we were sitting there while this fucking idiot's monitor refreshed their pixels. Like, brother, please.
Oh god.
Oh,
We could go on for a lot longer, but we're already at 2 hours.
Oh boy, that's a lot of me ranting.
Yeah, no, the rants are fine. The rants are fine. We can go on for much longer, but we've gone through everything I think we want to talk about. Legday, hey man, thank you so much for coming on, and congratulations on now being the 4th episode in the last 5 to be the new longest episode we've ever done.
Oh, thank you. It's been an absolute pleasure hitting you all with things you can't quite respond to.
Hey, trust me, I think we would enjoy that every now and then. So this was a great this was a good like new fresh episode for this. But back to this. But again, man, thank you so much for coming on. I'm gonna be honest, when Mega told me she got you, I didn't believe her. And then you joined the server. She also she told me to make guesses. And I was like, this either means someone I've talked about or someone
Reinforce responded to the email.
No, like that was the first that was the first person. I said, did Reinforce actually respond? And she said, no, don't get your hopes up for that.
don't worry, I've sent Johnny a second email. He'll get to me any day now.
Regarding my previous inquiry.
All right, but no, we actually should wrap up. Like, hey man, thank you so much for joining us. This was a great episode. Hunter, Mega, thank you guys as always, and thank you everyone who watched or listened through the whole 2 hours and probably 3 minutes will end up being. Thank you all so much. Make sure you subscribe or do whatever the hell it is on Spotify. I think it's follow to make sure you guys get notified when new episodes come out. Make sure you actually also go back and watch the pod review we did last week. Just more behind the scenes stuff where, hey, much like this episode, we went a lot longer than what we wanted to or what we said we were going to do. But hey, that will do it. Again, Legday, thank you so much. And thank you everyone for watching. Make sure you tune in next week for another great episode of For the Love of Prod with, I don't know who it's going to be just yet. You'll figure out when I do. Bye, y'all.
See ya.